Syed Nasir Hussain Shah Sahab, Honorable Minister, Mr. Aqil Said, Chairman, Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I am really very thankful to Pakistan Microfinance Network and the organizers to invite me here for participation in this closing ceremony and offer some closing remarks. To start with, I think I will like to explain that State Bank of Pakistan has as far as microfinance or development finance is concerned, we have two functions. So Mr. Salimullah, who was here at the opening ceremony, and Mr. Abid Qamar, who was on the last session, they are part of our development finance group. And their primary job is to facilitate and encourage the organizations, the people who are engaged in these development finance activities. I look after supervision, and my job is actually to assess the safety and soundness of these institutions and to monitor them. So my remarks may be a bit different than what you may have heard from Mr. Salimullah and Mr. Abid Qamar. So to start with, I would actually, Rashid Bajwa said that the banks are flushed with liquidity, and so there is an opportunity. Let me clarify. I don't know that how Dawn works out and calculates liquidity. The banks are not flushed with liquidity. They are offering some loans at a throwaway prices, primarily because of tax which is linked with their advances to deposit ratio. And because some of the banks are at the verge of the threshold of a particular advances to deposit ratio, so they are providing those loans at a very cheap rate to make sure that they get some savings on the tax. So I don't think that the sector, the microfinance sector, would get liquidity, or you should expect that you will be getting a lot of liquidity from the commercial banks. So that is one. The second, Rashid Bajwa said that the sector is resilient, and many of us clapped. I also clapped because I was sitting here. Again, I think my definition of resilience could be a bit different. When I say resilience, then I'm referring to a sector or to an institution which, when faced with shocks, is actually able to absorb that shock. And if it is not able to absorb that shock, it means that it is not resilient. Now, let's have a look at how resilience the microfinance sector, or in particular microfinance banks, have been. In December 2013, about 10 years back, the capital to total risk-weighted assets of the sector were 42.6. Tier 1 to total risk-weighted assets was 41.9, so about 42%. Where do we stand now after two shocks, which came in succession, to be fair with Microfinance Bank? First the COVID-19 and then the floods. Capital to total risk-weighted assets of the sector as a whole, 5.7%. Tier 1 capital, 3.7%. That is not resilience. It means that we need to have a serious look at the current paradigm, at the current model of the microfinance banks, and we are right now actually having a look at it. The sector as a whole, I'm not talking about the microfinance banks, is actually incurring losses for last many years. The non-performing loan ratio, which used to be like 1% 10 years back, is about at 11% as of end June. And please also take into account that this does not include charged-off loans, to which Rashid Bajwa Sahab referred as 100 billion rupees. And I wish and I pray that the borrowers who have these charged-off loans, they come running, because that will take care of a lot of our issues and my own concern as well. So generally, unfortunately, it does not happen. The borrowers, the defaulters, they do not come running for returning the loans. Some of them can come with the proposals that Rashid Bajwa Saab and the PMN may have, but I believe that many of these borrowers may actually not be in a position to repay the loans because these borrowers, unlike the borrowers of the commercial banks, were not as resilient because, of course, we do understand that the microfinance bank are actually serving the segment which is at the bottom of the pyramid. During these two episodes, we have also seen that the recovery infrastructure of the microfinance bank was also unfortunately not up to the mark. They were not able to distinguish the genuine default, where the customer has actually defaulted, and the strategic default, where the customer actually opted not to pay. As of now, as I just mentioned, that the solvency of the sector as a whole is a major problem. And the current sponsors of the microfinance banks either do not have the ability, because many of these sponsors, like for example, the international funds that have invested in these institutions, they have suffered losses in other countries as well. And as a result of that, their risk appetite to take more exposure in the microfinance bank is impaired, or they are not willing to throw good money behind bad money. So that then actually presents a big challenge. What we do about it? The first is, I wish that during these 3 days, this conference would have also thought about that how to restore the solvency, in addition to the liquidity, and how to go for growth. Because you go for growth out of a position of strength, not when you yourself you are presently struggling. The second part is that microfinance banks are actually sporting a very important public policy goal, and that is access to finance, and access to finance to that segment of society which does not have access, and poverty alleviation. So from that perspective, I believe that the organization like Pakistan Microfinance Network should be interacting with other stakeholders, including the governments, both at federal and provincial level, to first convince that some sort of solvency support is obtained from public funds, and we will be very happy to support our colleagues in microfinance in that effort. And the second, I think, I believe that at least one of the session did discuss this. The second important aspect that needs to be looked into before, again, the sector thinks about growth is how to actually ensure that these sort of events, like, for example, COVID or the floods, they do not have the same sort of devastating impact on the borrowers of the microfinance as well as the institutions, most probably through the introduction of some sort of maybe insurance, as Rashid Bajwa Saab just mentioned, or some sort of contingency support that comes into play if these sort of events unfold. We are already working with some of the multilateral bodies to come up with some sort of guarantees that actually pay off when these sort of events unfold. But it is important that these two areas are taken care of before the sector embarks upon the growth. In terms of model, as I said, that we are having a look at the current model of the microfinance bank and how we can make it more resilient, more robust. The ultimate goal of the sector is not to provide access to credit, but poverty alleviation. Ultimate goal is poverty alleviation. There is a very strong empirical evidence that microfinance banks, they do increase access to credit. But whether they are able to play any role in elevation of poverty, the evidence is mixed. Actually, most of these studies, they show that the poverty elevation goal is not achieved. In many studies, actually, it is the reverse, that the income of the borrower, especially the disposable income, actually declines. And the primary reason is that the borrowers who use the microfinance loans for consumption purposes instead of productive purposes, that actually results in decline in their net disposable income, and that actually then results into a debt trap for these sort of borrowers. Now I understand, and I was very happy that I was here in the last session that discussed the automation and digitization. One approach to achieve this goal, to ensure that the microfinance banks, they know their customers, that which of the customers should get loans and which of the customers should not get loan, and to ensure that the loans are utilized for intended purposes, for productive purposes, and at the same time to ensure that those loans would actually result in increasing the income of the borrower. It would be important that the microfinance bank has a very close collaboration with each and every borrower. Unfortunately, practically it is not possible. This relationship lending model works very well for large corporate loans, but for small loans it is very expensive. So the only other solution is actually to use the technology. Now, in the last session, actually, one of our colleagues mentioned and defined automation and digitization. So far, bulk of the efforts of microfinance bank as well as other banks have been largely reliant on or largely aimed at providing their products and services through digital means. I understand that we also discussed the credit scoring, but I believe that until and unless microfinance banks think of becoming a partner with the microfinance borrowers, and they think of something like, for example, what we are now, every app is trying to be a super app, or many of the actually institutions, they are trying to evolve themselves into sort of a lifestyle partner, whereby they actually meet the needs and requirements of a customer from cradle to grave. So I think the microfinance banks would have to actually sort of come out of the existing mindset, and instead of only thinking themselves at the lender, they should keep in mind their ultimate goal, that is poverty alleviation, and they will, in order to do that, they will need to partner with institutions like Ms. Sadaf has mentioned, that literacy and how to identify the needs of the borrower, and how to ensure that the loans that is provided to the borrower is utilized appropriately. But so if we want to achieve that, we will have to then tap and leverage technology in a much richer way than right now we are thinking. Microfinance banks will need to partner with institutions like Circle and other institutions to ensure that they achieve their objective. So my best wishes to the sector. It is important to recognize that we are at a difficult position. I have no doubt that we will, inshallah, come out of that difficulty. Although we are working very closely with each institutions, and many of the institutions have credible plan in place to come out of this difficult position, restore their solvency level, put in place necessary buffers, and I am pretty confident that we can, inshallah, meet the meet the goal that is very noble to alleviate poverty and to serve the segment that unfortunately cannot be served by any other institution other than microfinance bank and microfinance institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Inayat Hussain. Next, I'd like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Akif Saeed. He's the Chairman, Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Senior Minister Nasir Hussain Shah Sahab, Dr. Inayat, Deputy Governor, State Bank, Rashid Bajwa Sahab, Chairman, PMN and Policy Committee, Amir Sahab, I believe newly elected Chairman of PMN. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'll talk about whatever is written here in terms of a formal speech. That will be a smaller part of what I say today here. Second would be some response to what Bajwa Sahab said and some requests taking advantage of presence of a senior minister here from SECP's standpoint. First of all, of course, congratulations to PMNN and its members for holding their annual conference. I think this is an achievement itself. It's the 8th, I believe, continuously. So congratulations. I believe a lot of discussions would have taken place. I only picked up last part of the last session where Amir Aftab, Taimur from Karandaz and Sadaf from Circle mentioned about two things which will come into my points when I talk about submissions made by Rashid Bajwa Sahab. I think at SECP, we are funding for us. State Bank, of course, looks at microfinance banks as a lender of last resort, but we as a non-banking financial sector regulator approach microfinance institutions with a different lens. For us, funding, of course, is the main issue, and this is where it's heartening to see, and I'm very pleased to report that SECP and State Bank are working very closely, particularly where the funding is being available by multilateral agencies. Recent collaboration has been the WIF1 under State Bank. Of course, there are certain issues which needs to be addressed, but that will be, I believe, will be sorted out in due course. Second is the focus we have on is the capital market, particularly the debt issuance, which we are trying to work on. One of the purpose of my being here for the last 2 days has been we've been holding consultation session on issuance of debt, how we can make it efficient both in terms of cost and in terms of time. So these are the focus areas for us to address the funding issues for the microfinance institutions. Then our focus has been on the digitalization part, primarily stemming from our regulatory sandbox, which has seen a number of products, even though not stricto sensu for the microfinance borrowers, but for SME in general. So we have launched framework and successfully implemented P2P, peer-to-peer lending. We have framework in place for digital insurance, digital brokerage houses, digital AMCs. So to bring in the context of microfinance, I believe that's the way forward on two counts. One, of course, is the outreach, and second is the cost itself. Apart from the cost of borrowing or the fund cost, the administrative cost has to be addressed through the digitalization. And I fully endorse comments made by Honorable Dr. Inayat that the digital infrastructure that has a role to play to lower the cost and address the issues through either credit scoring or through credit checks. I think our team is working with credit bureaus, the two credit bureaus, to address those issues. Second is the collateral, the STR, Secure Transaction Registry, maintained by SECP. I think it is not being fully utilized to the extent the way we thought it would be, but something which we were willing to work with PMN and look at it as a robust and a vibrant way to ensure security and lending ability of the microfinance sector. Coming to Bajwa Saab's points, I think digital infrastructure is critical. To take it forward, he talked about SRO also, self-regulatory organization, PMN should become. I think it's a journey, and we welcome, on behalf of SECP, I sort of fully endorse this thing, but the clarity has to be there in terms of what role they need to play, what responsibilities they have to take on. Apart from, I think he mentioned governance, transparency, and reporting. I think one area where came out from the last session and from earlier speeches is the HR quality. I think this is where as SRO can play a lot of part in terms of training of the HR. And secondly is the digital component, particularly the digital infrastructure. If they have to develop something where they can share the cost, it will be much easier for microfinance institutions to collaborate and pick up the cost on a collective basis rather than on an individual basis. For Honorable Senior Minister, Sir, SECP would love to seek guidance and help from the Government of Sindh in 3 areas. One, of course, touched by Mr. Bajwa. We have developed a 5-year insurance plan. As we speak, our Commissioner Insurance is in Quetta talking to the provincial government. So we are going from Balochistan, we have started. We are going to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, coming to Sindh government also, and then to Punjab government. Idea is there are 3 core areas where we need to work with within insurance. One is the third-party motor vehicle, which we are working with the federal government to amend the law, but we need to work with the motor registry in Pakistan, the 4 provinces, how we can implement the third-party motor vehicle insurance. I think that's one area we are in touch. As far as Karachi is concerned, we are in touch with CPLC, and we need the support from the government of Sindh. Second is, of course, the crop insurance and the climate pool. These are the 2 areas we believe that a coordinated effort is required. It is something which no provincial government on its own or federal government on its own can do it. We need to all to come together and work on it. That's the second or third area where we need your support. Second area which we are in discussion with your government is the pension reforms. We have been talking to them, and we've been responding to their questions, and because Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has done it, we are working with the Punjab government as well and with the federal government. And the last bit is, I believe, which cuts across the whole of non-banking financial sector, is the investor education. I think we have to start very early. We have done it with Gilgit-Baltistan. We are working with the federal government at ICT, but the provincial governments have to amend and bring financial planning and financial education starting at the school level and include apart from the basics of financial planning, financial literacy, we need to bring in the digital literacy also. I think that is the 2 areas we would love to work with the government of Sindh. And with that, I would congratulate once again Pakistan Microfinance Network on holding this conference. Looking forward to working with whatever the takeaways are, whatever the role SECP can play, particularly in the case in the context of funding, the SRO, digitalization, and awareness. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Aqif Saeed. And finally, I would like to invite our chief guest, Syed Nasir Hussain Shah, please, for his closing comments. Please, everyone, a round of applause.
It's okay, sir. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Respected Mr. Aqif Saeed, respected Dr. Inayat Ali, respected Dr. Amir Khan, respected Dr. Rashid Bajwa, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Actually, Honorable CM Sindh Murad Ali Shah Sahab was supposed to come here, but due to an important or urgent issue, he had to go to Islamabad. So I am here on his behalf. And I feel privileged to be here in front of this August Forum and speak on behalf of Government of Sindh and spell out the vision of my party and provincial government for creating an enabling environment where the young, energetic, middle and lower class citizens are given skill-based training linked with a sustainable increase in their livelihood through small, medium enterprises development. This forum has already discussed Sindh Enterprises Development Fund project, which was initiated by Government of Sindh in 2012 under Investment Department. After successful 10 years, SEDF have supported interest-based financing of big business initiatives such as a day fresh milk facility at Bambur, multiple controlled shed poultry farms, cold storages, and other agro-based value addition private project in the province of Sindh. Not only this, but GOS through People's Poverty Reduction Project and SRSO have reached out more than 300,000 families where interest-free loans are given for small businesses initiatives by lower middle class, rural families every year in more than 16 districts of Sindh. Recently, we have enhanced the loan limit from few lakhs to 2 million and 3 million to support medium-sized enterprising projects. Recovery rate from these interest-free loans is more than 90% in last 8 to 10 years. So Sindh government through other donor-funded projects such as Paidar from EU, IFED from US, and Live Aqua from World Bank for fisher folk agro-based microfinancing projects. All these projects are primarily focusing on localized skill training, leading towards interest-free loans for small community-based business development. Sindh Social Protection Authority, established under Government of Sindh, is working day and night to provide sustainable financing to all the marginalized communities who are living under poverty score in the province of Sindh. GOS is also using banking sector to rebuild more than 1.5 million houses which were completely washed out in floods of 2022 with an investment of more than 1.5 billion US dollar. This entire disbursement is being done through self-help construction mechanism where milestone-based funds are released to beneficiaries through banks. This relationship of banking institutes with government institutions have helped increase the confidence of general public in the government at the grassroots level. Sindh is the only province in the country who have successfully launched and completed PPP infrastructure projects where banks, knowing the strong legal backing and financial commitment of provincial government under VGF regime, have supported huge private investors in providing financial close. Many of these completed projects have now started giving back revenue to the government. Government of Sindh is cognizant for the fact that sustainable economic development can only be achieved where private and government sectors proceed hand in glove to achieve common objective. For that, I, on behalf of Government of Sindh, assure full commitment and support to all the initiatives which will be brought forward by the private sector using the opportunity. I will also stress that banks should explore more options to support localized agro-based industries on easy terms so that economic growth of rural centers can also be increased on similar pace. And we are also working on crop insurance as per instructions of our chairman, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab, and we are preparing this scheme for the farmers. And I once again thank you for extending me this opportunity to be in front of such an intellectual forum that discuss government's vision in support of small and medium-sized business enterprises in the province of Sindh. So thank you very much. Sindh, Pakistan, Zindabad. जी चलें, मैं तो सिंधी में भी बात करना चाह रहा था, मैंने जाके कहा। तो देखें, ये बड़ा फोरम है और पहली दफ़ा इनकी मीटिंग या ये जो वर्कशॉप कह लें, सेमिनार कह लें, या ये जो एक इवेंट हुआ है, ये सिंध में फर्स्ट टाइम हो रहा है। और मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ जिन्होंने ये इवेंट मैनेज किया कि उन्होंने कराची मेरे शहर में ये शुरू किया, जिससे बहुत सारी चीज़ों में बेहतरी भी आई और आगाही हुई जो प्रोजेक्ट्स यहाँ पे चल रहे हैं। तो ज़ाहिर है मैं सिंध गवर्नमेंट को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ, तो इसके लिए सीधी सी बात है कि जो हमने यहाँ पे किया सिंध में, और ख़ास तौर पर पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी की गवर्नमेंट ने 2008 से ऑनवर्ड जो प्रोजेक्ट्स किए हैं, यहाँ पे रितल कलोड़ो साहब बैठे हैं जो SRSO से हैं, इस तरह दीगर NGO से भी बहुत सारे हमारे मेहरबान दोस्त यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं कि जिनकी सपोर्ट से यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा काम हुए। और मैं सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं वो दीगर इलाकों से आए हैं और जो डोनर्स हैं या उनके जो भी नुमाइंदे यहाँ पे हैं, वो ज़रूर विज़िट करें जहाँ जहाँ पे सिंध गवर्नमेंट ने NGOs के साथ मिलकर और जो अच्छी तंजीमें हैं उनके साथ मिलकर यहाँ पे काम किया है। ये जो मैं SRSO का आपको बताया, ये वो ख़वातीन हैं उन इलाकों की जो बहुत ज़्यादा रिमोट एरियाज़ हैं जहाँ पे कभी ये सोच नहीं थी कि वो अपने पैरों पे खड़ी होंगी और अपने घरों को चलाएंगी। और लाखों की तादाद में इस तरह की फैमिलीज़ हैं जिन्होंने वो लोन लिए और वो खुद उनका एक मैकेनिज़्म है जिसके तहत वो उसको आपस में चलाते हैं। और जो सबसे अच्छी बात है कि लोन की जो वापसी है وہ 99% ہے. میں نے یہاں پہ 90% کو کوڈ کیا. وہ دیگر اور بھی بہت سارے ہمارے پروجیکٹ ہیں, لیکن جو یہ خواتین سپورٹڈ جو پروگرام ہے اس میں 99% جو ہے وہ اس کی ریکوری ہے, اور 1% کوئی کسی کی جان یا گئی خدا نخواستہ تو اس میں یہ آتا ہے. اسی طرح اور بہت سے ہمارے پروگرام چل رہے ہیں, اور اس کا دائرہ بھی جو ہے اب ہم نے پورے سندھ میں جتنے بھی ڈسٹرکٹ ہیں ان سب کو انکلوڈ کیا ہے. ریسنٹلی وہ ہم نے اپروو کیا ہے, اور سی ایم صاحب نے چیئرمین بلاول بھٹو زرداری صاحب کی خصوصی احکامات پر فنڈز بھی ایلوکیٹ کیے ہیں تاکہ پورے صوبے میں یہ اس کا دائرہ جو ہے اس کو بڑھایا جائے. پھر ایک جو ظاہر ہے آپ سب اویئر ہوں گے, مے بی یہ 3 دن کا پروگرام تھا, آپ کا ٹیک کیئر صحیح طریقے سے کیا گیا یا نہیں. جو یہاں رہتے ہیں تو وہ تو ٹھیک ہے, لیکن جو ہمارے گیسٹ یہاں پہ موجود ہیں ان سے تو ہمارا جو ایک اور بڑا پروگرام جس میں یہ یہاں پہ 15 لاکھ گھروں کی بات ہوئی, ایکچولی وہ 21 لاکھ گھر ہیں جو یہاں پہ جو ایک بہت بڑی آفت وہ جو 2022 میں سیلاب آیا, بارشیں ہوئیں, اور جس کے تحت یہاں پہ تباہی ہوئی. پورے پاکستان میں نقصانات ہوئے, لیکن سب سے زیادہ نقصان جو ہے وہ سندھ میں ہوا. تو چیئرمین بلاول بھٹو زرداری صاحب کیونکہ ہر علاقے میں انہوں نے وزٹ کیا, تو وہاں پہ لوگوں کے گھر جو تباہ ہوئے تو سب نے ڈیمانڈ کی, تو انہوں نے سی ایم صاحب کو اور کیبنٹ ممبرز کو کہا کہ اس پہ کام کریں. بہت مشکل کام تھا, لیکن اس میں ہم نے اس کو اسٹارٹ کیا, اور الحمدللہ جس میں ہمیں ورلڈ بینک کی بہت زیادہ سپورٹ ہے, اسی طرح دیگر ڈونرز کی بھی. تو وہ 21 لاکھ گھر جو ہیں وہ ہم بنا کے دے رہے ہیں, اور اس کا بڑا پراپر ایک میکینزم ہے. یہ 3 دن سے چل رہا تھا. میرا کہنے کا مقصد ہے پتہ نہیں وہ یہاں پہ اس کو پیش کیا گیا یا نہیں, ان کی طرف سے کوئی آیا, حالانکہ بہت ضروری تھا کیونکہ آپ ہی لوگوں میں بہت سے لوگوں نے اس میں ہمیں سپورٹ کیا ہے, جس کی وجہ سے یہ ممکن ہو رہا ہے کہ ہم ان غریب, ان بے سہارا, ان بے پہنچ لوگوں کی مدد کر سکیں, اور خاص طور پر جس میں ایک بڑی تعداد بیواؤں کی ہے اور ان خواتین کی ہے جن کا کوئی پرسان حال نہیں. تو وہ بھی آپ ضرور وزٹ کریں, جب آپ کہیں اس کا ارینج بھی کیا جا سکتا ہے, اور آپ ویسے بھی اس کو چیک کر سکتے ہیں. اسی طرح اور بہت سارے پروگرام ہیں جن پہ ہم لوگ کام کر رہے ہیں. کاپ ان کی فصلوں کی انشورنس کی بات ہوئی, تو اس پہ آلریڈی آپ کے علم میں ہوگا کہ ہم اس پہ کام کر رہے ہیں, اور اس کے لیے بھی, اور ویسے بھی اس سیلاب میں بھی جن کسانوں کا نقصان ہوا ان کو سندھ گورنمنٹ نے کچھ نہ کچھ سپورٹ کیا, اور ہم اس پہ بھی کام کر رہے ہیں. اور بھی سجیشنز آئیں گی. میں نے اور چیف منسٹر صاحب نے یہ کہا تھا کہ جو بھی یہاں سے سجیشنز آئیں, جہاں جو بھی تجاویز ہوں ان کو ان کے ساتھ شیئر کریں گے, اور جو اور بہتری جس طرح ہم لا سکیں, کیونکہ ہمارا مقصد اور آپ سب کا مقصد ایک ہی ہے کہ لوگوں کی بھلائی کا کام کریں, اور لوگوں کو ہم زیادہ سے زیادہ جو ہے فیسلیٹیٹ کر سکیں اس سیکٹر کو جس کا کوئی پرسان حال نہیں ہے. اور میں آپ سب کا بہت شکر گزار ہوں کہ آپ یہاں پہ آئے اور آپ نے اس میں ہمیں سپورٹ کی ہے, کرتے رہے ہیں, اور ہم آپ سے اور بھی پر امید ہیں کہ آپ اس سپورٹ کو اور بڑھائیں. بہت شکریہ. تھینک یو ویری مچ.
Thank you so much. بہت بہت شکریہ آپ کا. And now on behalf of the Pakistan Microfinance Network, as an appreciation of, as a token of our appreciation, I would like to move towards the handing over of mementos to our speakers, and it is only appropriate that it is done by the chairman of Pakistan Microfinance Network, Mr. Amir Khan, who will be handing out the mementos to our guests. So I'd like to invite them one by one, starting with Dr. Rashid Bajwa, please, to receive his memento. A round of applause, please. Thank you, everyone. Also, Dr. Inayat Hussain, Our guest of honor, Mr. Akif Saeed. And of course, our chief guest, Syed Nasir Hussain Shah. And finally, I would like to invite the CEO of Pakistan Microfinance Network, Syed Mohsin Ahmed, for his closing words for this three-day event. Thank you, everyone.
Our idea when we decided that we need to hold this conference in Karachi and that we need to engage with the banks. So the reason was that we were looking for, the sector is looking for liquidity and the sector is looking for capital. And we thought that rather than holding this event in Islamabad, the right place to come is Karachi, which is the commercial hub of Pakistan. And then we thought that how should we name it? So the idea came around microfinance at II Chandigarh Road, and also not just dealing with the commercial banks, but with the capital market also, so that we are able to in future raise capital and capital from the stock market also. And so with that, we then decided on the kind of participants we have. We will have the different themes in the session that we will do in this conference. I think it went very well, and I think we are looking forward to, there are a number of recommendations that have come over the last so many days, which includes some especially recommendation at the stock exchange, where they talked about engaging more regularly with the stock market and with the relevant investors who are engaged in the stock exchange. Also the fact that we need to continue to engage deeply with the commercial banks, and especially I think Irfan Saab mentioned that for that we need to engage with the risk teams of commercial banks, not just their business team but also the risk departments. And so that's something we will focus on. Then there are number of roundtable events we are planning to do going forward, which includes engaging with the commercial banks, especially with their risk department, with the asset management companies, with the stock exchange, the kind of information that the stock exchange will require in terms of increasing information and reducing asymmetries of information with the players in the capital market, and engaging with the research firms and the brokers over there. And before I end, finally, something about the next event. So something we will discuss. There is a lot of people who are saying that the next time it should be in Lahore. So we will decide after taking input from our board and our members that what is the right place to go and what is going to be the theme. Something that has already been suggested today by Zafar Masood Saab, that it should be around collaboration and the different kind of public-private partnership that need to be done so that we move forward. So we will announce that soon. Rather than waiting till next summers, we plan to do it by early this next year. At the end, I would like to thank, starting from all our sponsors, whether they are from the bronze sponsors to the diamond sponsors. We value the support that they have provided us and continue to provide us over the last 8 years. I would also like to thank my PMN members and the board of directors for their support and for continuously engaging with us in terms of the discussions around how do we plan this conference and do different events within that. To the different stakeholders, including the World Bank, the ADB, State Bank of Pakistan, Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, for their support and being present. I think in the last 7 offerings that we have done, this is the maximum presence we have from both the Central Bank and the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. I think something we should value, because they have played a major role in building this industry. And my management team. So from Ali Basharat to Fahad, I thank them. They've been working very hard, especially in the last 2-3 months, and especially for the last 2-3 days. It was not possible without them. Also, Sarah. Yeah, sorry. So Sarah also played a very major role in this. And the event management firm. So thank you, everyone. Ji. We look forward to seeing you next year at AMC 9. Thank you very much. Ji.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to officially announce the lunch is served, and this is sponsored by Asha Microfinance Bank. Thank you all, and have a wonderful day.